Welcome, everybody. Honestly, climbing this late, not entirely sure just how much playing we'll get to do, but... Okay. What the heck is going on? How did it unban Bastion? That was weird. Anywho. Morning all. Black hole. Do not like this draft. Saw like no chill champ or no skill champions. Oh, I know, Jason. Why do you think I'm here right now? That's fine. Okay. It'd probably be easier if I was good with Spiral. No time like the present, right? Okay, so you can get rid of the Furies, but because it causes a new buff, I should not be blocking the special one. That's fine. Forfeits be plentiful, indeed. Beating an offensive Spider-Woman and not having to fight her on defense is about as well as this first round could possibly have gone. Thanks, KJ. Still have so much to learn with her in terms of getting comfortable with the blades and everything, but she's ascended now, so time to start. Morning, Ghost. That was my fault. So why am I parrying? Yeah. I also don't know why I'm dashing in here. I'm like doing everything wrong with Shane here. Okay. I may have earned myself a round 3 there. Because that could have been really clean. Okay, thank you for not being really good, opponent. I won't say for being bad, because it's a hard fight, but... I was worried that they'd pull it out. Me too, KJ. Me too. Mojo is cracked. Basically Black Hole, yeah. They're the same tech. Iron Fist for Jane? Iron Fist for everybody! Sorry, I'm trying not to be too sarcastic there, Zephyr, but like, how many 6-star Iron Fists do you think I have? If I was running the Iron Fist on Jane, would you tell me that I was doing it wrong on Absorbing Man or on Paviter? This is exactly why I get on a soapbox about relic placements and people talking about the best relic, because you gotta pick one. I don't know, Callow. That sounds right, but I'm not in live ops. I don't track when things go live like that. More Timo. I know people are not going to be happy to hear me say this. I would love if we literally never saw 7-star battlecasts. I would not be surprised by a forfeit here. Yeah, just take away the rank 4s. That's fine. I got enough. I don't need Gene. Not just too strong, it's too warping. Like, that's part of the reason we have statcasts, because in hindsight, in a lot of ways, not just in hindsight, but that's a different story. But like, battlecasts were kind of a mistake. That's like, that's very reductive. Not really what I'm talking about. They're more transformative. They're not always better. But more transformative is a problem because it makes it harder to come out with new things and it makes the balancing aspect of it harder, etc., etc., etc. That's what I mean when I say there are a lot of issues. I don't know who I want. I probably should have grabbed Zola for defense. Hey, easy. I mean, the Venom one is busted. That's one we should never have shipped. I remember saying that at the time, unfortunately. Right. It's just they're so uneven, Neos. Not my favorite fight, but this is okay. I think that's a very rose-colored glasses take on it, Mental. I'm not super interested in continuing this discussion this morning, though, so I'm gonna put a pin in that one. Hey, Iron Spider. Cool. What sig was that, Kindred? Yeah, I was gonna say, that route felt very short. I knew I was risking some stuff. Nice, Needles. Did you just agree with somebody agreeing with yourself, Easy? Or did I say something else? Or would? Okay. I Yelena is the right call here. Or sorry, Maker's the right call here for Yelena. But I kind of want to try Storm again. Heyo, that's how it goes. Gotcha, Easy. I mean, you can if you don't listen to counter arguments, ASAP. It's part of the problem of the whole discussion. Stats are subtle. Some things aren't subtle. There's an overflow element there, Ghost. It's not luck. I'm not super familiar with the system, so I'm not really going to speak to it more, but that's kind of what's going on. Until you get to a certain point, if your teams are too strong, you get, like, overflow. Nice, Void. We did. I should call out me finishing that Yelena fight as healthily as I did is a little bit luck based. Because if she crits through your block less and you have less glancing luck, you can lose more health. The first time I tried it, I did have some more instant bleeds. So it can go a bit worse, but I think from a tactical standpoint, that is as clean as it goes. You just want to do a lot of heavies so that you still have prowess for the special 2 when she goes into elimination. Hey, Nick. I mean, they're different champions with different focuses. I prefer Storm-X because she has more utility and she has a little bit of defensive leaning. I'm not going to pretend it's a particularly strong one. OG Storm does hit harder, at least once she ramps. Storm-X has a bit more of an explosive start, which is exactly what you need sometimes, like in Battlegrounds. But yeah, I think the utility makes the difference. I mean, that already exists, Nick. Go read America Chavez a little more closely. Not sure you wanted the race. Oh, they're running recoil? In this meta? We're a long way from that, Nick. Don't think we have much need for that at the moment. May thy knife chip and shatter. I love when pre-fights don't work in Battlegrounds. It makes me so happy. Did we actually get it? Okay, we did. That was my fault. Hey, 23. That looks like a shatter to me. Somebody went for a heavy charge. I mean, I don't know if you're trying to get something out of me there, Ghost, or if you're asking completely sincerely, but, like, I really don't like the narrative that your second message is subscribing to. Like, the community needs to stop looking at the balance program as the fun police. Like, they're not in opposition to the character designers. They're not ruining our great ideas, right? Like, it's just, that's such a juvenile way of looking at game design. We work together to try and make a game that is healthy and fun, right? And part of fun is an appropriate amount of challenge. None of us are trying to make characters exactly even with each other. Part of the fun is finding what is stronger than other things. But it only stays fun, especially competitively, if there is kind of an upper and lower bounds on strength. We are all working towards that goal. If a champion designer is ever feeling like they are getting away with something, they are doing the job wrong and they should not be here. That is not what the assignment is. But at the same time, I'm not saying that I'm holding myself back just because there's not a formal process. Because even when there was a formal process, changing things was a pain in the butt. If a number went down, then it still took a while. The community got used to it. And as we saw multiple times, at even the prospect of something going down, they threw a frickin' fit. Just because I could theoretically blame the balance designers for that and dodge the responsibility myself, which would be me being a terrible person, that doesn't mean that I want to do that, right? That's still pain that could be avoided if I get it exactly right. Similarly, on the other side, if something needs to be tuned up, we went through this with Patriot. It took a year for him to get adjusted. That's pain that can be avoided if I do it exactly right. The goal is always to do it right. And like Work and Jason said, things can always be adjusted. It's literally in the terms of service. No, I don't think it would have sufficed. Because the way you asked your questions had significant implications attached to them. And those implications do deserve to be addressed. I think that's a misunderstanding, Aditya. The rebalance program with its systematic and recurring batch updates has been shut down. There is still a balance team on MCOC, and they still have the power to make balance changes to characters. That is literally part of their job description. Jesus, this is a large roster. Yeah, I mean, that's what it comes down to, Easy. The painful part of the process is never balance designers making changes. It's the community throwing a fit when they do. I do appreciate you picking a large enough number that it's clear that you're joking, Slim. Nah, probably not, Spider. I got a bunch of catching up to do. Like, I will probably do it live when I do it. But I'm not going to rush to compete with people who have the freedom of schedule or the time zone to do it live. Is I think the best way to put that. Like, I am not going to... The first thing that comes to mind, but that would be a mistake to say, is, like, I have a job. Some of the people who will stream at noon or whatever time it is for them also have jobs. I need to be fair about that. But mine doesn't really allow me to stream right away. I wonder what their plan is for Serpent if they're using Kushala here. That was me, I would have taken a throw round. I did think of you when I saw that, Jason. So, the balance team does have the ability to make changes to abilities, right? Like, they are allowed to say, no, that mechanic doesn't make sense here. But that's not their primary job, Ghost. For the most part, they're supposed to be taking the levers that you give them and deciding where the final numbers go. And that's not a minimization thing, right? Like, that is a very difficult job to do properly in a game as complex as ours. But what I mean by that is that it is the character designer's responsibility. It is my responsibility to get the mechanics right before I hand them off in the first place. And so, if I'm thinking about should this be there, or should this... If I'm thinking about how things should be before I hand it to the balance team, I'm not adding or subtracting mechanics unless I feel like, oh, this is just going to get in the way of this character being correctly balanced at all in the first place, which is kind of like what I said about Ebony Maw yesterday. I should be trying to get the mechanics exactly right, because that's my job. Whoops. And I should be trying to get the numbers close. Well, that's unfortunate. I wasn't ready to go for the special too, but I probably shouldn't have even risked the intercept because of the possibility of this. Or that. Jeez. Alright. Nice, Spider. I wish you luck. Star-Lord would definitely be up there with truly nothing. It's also animation dependent. If the animations are simple enough, and there are some other characters who start to get pretty nuts. I've gotten it before, easy, but I definitely didn't there. I practiced it quite a bit when I needed it for a war fight, but I'm out of practice, and it's one of those that doesn't sit naturally in my fingers. Hey, Noodle. And yeah, Neos, maybe not everybody doesn't come at it that way, but like from a process standpoint, I've said this before, we literally have a kit lock date, right? Which is separate from a tuning lock date. And I think it's really important to understand that the kit and the tuning are two different things. They are related, but somewhat loosely. Hastily. They made me work for it. Although you should tell them that throw rounds are helpful. Because I think they would have done better against me if they had used Spider-Woman or somebody against that first Dark Phoenix. It saved their Kushala. Hmm. I really don't want to do the Serpent fight with Tigra, but it's probably good to have the option. Okay, that's better. How is Sam for Britain? Pretty good. It's not ideal, but pretty darn good. Especially if you can get an intercept for the Bulwark without having to knock down. And I will come back to your question, Floyd. It's just not a mid-fight one. Yeah, I expected that. But I think we can beat this if we do it right. Both throw it, thank you. Yeah, I was worried we didn't have enough prowess there. Oh, that was dumb. Okay, not perfect. Not perfect at all, but thank you, Betsy. And thank you, challenge rating. This one goes out to challenge rating. Reduces your opponent's crit chance. Yeah, I very much agree with Easy. Like, out of those three, I have Betsy up. I don't think I have the other two. But I think for a lot of people, the correct answer would be Crossbones. Good. Okay, I think we've got that one. So back to Floyd's question. Um, the default for updates, especially if they're like, it kind of depends if we're talking about like rebuilds, like Doctor Strange or Iron Man, or tune-ups, right? You said tune-ups, but I want to touch on both because these challenge or these terms are used too interchangeably. So for rebuilds, the like designing the kit again from the ground up, the default is to my team, and they are assigned like normal champions, right? Iron Man was given the full like 3-month process that we normally do. Doctor Strange was, X-23 was, Magic was, like they are capped out as in we plan people's capacity for them. They're capped out as full champions. When it comes to tune-ups like Sam and Storm, the default for that kind of work is often to go to a balance designer, because I think what I can speak to is like the ethos across the team is that if you can fix, and I'm putting fix in quotes, a champion with just numbers, then you should. Because if that's truly all they need, then that is the least amount of work, so it's the most efficient thing to do. It's also probably the safest thing to do because you're not likely to mess with the identity of the champion. And one thing that we've learned over the years is that basically everyone has fans. It does not matter how bad they are. Like, if we reworked Drax tomorrow, Nagase would be sweating, right? And so if you can fix things with numbers, you should. Um, and so, like I said, the first step is to try and figure out if the balance team has the capacity to cover it. If we're doing something like the Ascension pool update where it took a little bit more than that, then sometimes we'll go, okay, who do we think out of the whole team, character and balance, can take it? And we'll divvy it up from there. Like I said, I had ideas for Sam and Storm, so I called dibs on them out of that. I think that answers the question enough. I could probably ramble for a while, but I think that covers it. Let me know if you still have something specific. Yeah, I don't agree with that, Nick. I would, like, Stark is good as a nuke. That doesn't mean he covers what Lizard does. Or, sorry, I'm looking at Lizard here. That doesn't mean he covers what Crossbones does. So I've spoken about this before, Kumar, but if it's truly from the ground up, art has to start first, because otherwise we end up in a place where we have a kit ready, but how do we play test it if there's no art? But before art starts, we do a brainstorm process where we do talk through, like, hey, what would be cool? This is kind of my early ideas for what I think the character will be doing, etc. Like, we were just discussing Kushala, and for her, I was saying before I'd really done anything on the kit, like I want the special 2 to look like it's pulling something out of the opponent, because there was like a soul drain moment in one of her comics, right? We knew we wanted there to be fire because she's a ghost rider, and so a lot of the VFX were built around that. I knew that I wanted block regen, because that was something that I wanted to play with in a sorcerer, because I liked how it worked on Sorcerer Supreme. And so, excuse me. So I was like, she's going to be spending a fair amount of time in her block animation. And so that informed how much work we put into the block VFX, which I think is fantastic, right? Like that kind of thing. Whoops, excuse me. Would not be shocked at another quit out. Do you need me to give you every single example, Arun? Surely you can extrapolate a little bit from what I said. Yeah, sure thing, Floyd. Dude, Kushala was shipped when I was working on Serpent. That's not how that works. Yeah, Megan. Okay. Guess we're using Kindred for Serpent. It doesn't need to be Kindred. Hey, Driz. Ah, dang it. Okay, come on. I guess, but I think, like, trying to abstract Crossbones to that degree to where you remove his utility is missing some important things. And yeah, to answer more directly, Kushala was locked when Serpent came out. Well, Patriot was unblockable? I definitely haven't seen that one yet. Okay, Unstoppable makes more sense. Still feels wrong, but yeah, that one makes sense. Yeah, if you've got the video, pass it along. Let me know. We'll take a look. Excuse me. Well, that's certainly not what I was expecting. Cool. Honestly, overkill. Probably could have done it with a special one, but cool. Yeah, just one of the last ones I pulled, Aiden. Very happy about it. Hit for Photon punching up is not something I particularly want to do. I'm sure it works, but I'm not surprised to see that happen to them. Hey, hey. bad. Now we're gonna take poison. If I'd landed that parry, we'd be okay. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Okay. I should have played this differently. Yeah, and that's what I should have done the first time. Would have saved us a lot of health. Is what it is. I have not heard of that one, Black Hole. Thanks, Kurt. Hey, alright, Black Panther did enough. Thank you. He shows up. Oh, I'd love to get him. Okay, I think I'm going to go ahead and call it here. Got about a half hour before I need to start work, and that'll help. Go away! I've been told that's not an easy fix. I really don't care. I hate it so much. 50 out of 3 of those is so brutal. Hey, Mike, thanks for being a member, man. Okay, quick question of order of operations. Does a hit that grants, for example, a Fury buff benefit from the attack rating increase? Almost always, yes. You would have to be doing something weird for it to not. Because the actual damage of a hit is, like, resolved pretty late in the hit, whereas we normally grant Furies just on hit. And so that's safely before the damage calculation. $100 out of a 10 pop. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad there are enough, but the RNG does stink. Who's coming out next? Madeline? Maybe I'll open a few for her. Oh, I know the other thing. No, I'll wait for the daily event to cross over. But I do want to take a look at who do I want to take from 1 to 3. Okay, there's some good candidates. Probably Strange over in Baku and JJ. Feel like he'd be fun to have, but yeah, that's a good list. All right, I'm gonna head to. Oh, sorry, the black screen threw me. I thought that my Elgato had died. But thank you all for hanging out.